Hey guys, we were going to talk about the components of a bow drill and how to build it and how to choose the right wood. So we'll start off with the bow itself. I always like to look for a piece of wood that's got an arch in it. Doesn't matter what type. You want something that's hard, it's not going to flex a bunch on you. Look for one that's got an arch so that when you tie your string up, you can use your thumb as a tensioner. So when you're operating your spindle, you can use your thumb to apply pressure, to tighten it, to apply tension. Okay? You can pull it in, whatever works for you. I usually do a two-fingered twist on it. Alright, so there's the bow. You can see some of the modifications I've made to it. I put a hole through it eventually. It was just easier for tightening and loosening, adjusting to the different spindles I have. Originally I just had a notch cut, tied around here and looped over the top. The string ran down this way. It was just like this one. Let's see what I've done here. If my string breaks, I take a couple wraps off, slide it up and tie it back off. See, I have a couple extra inches of string there. Then we go on to the bearing block. This is a piece of fat lighter knot. Okay, that works really good. I learned that trick from David West. He's a great YouTuber. Anyway, so I'll cut a little tiny notch in there, and when it heats up, it'll start to wear in. But as it heats up, you see the black there? That's where the resin heats up, and it lubricates it. So you have very minimal friction on this end, maximum friction on this end. Okay, so sharpen this to a point. And just as a side note, whenever you're resharpening this, because it'll start to wear down in there and collapse, and obviously then you got a fat stick going in a hole, and you don't want that. You want to shave it back down. But try to keep the tip on there. As the tip blackens, it gets hardened. Okay. And then with this guy, I usually just cut it off straight. I'll shoulder it a little bit when I first start off. So as when I'm starting a new hole, it'll kind of help it seat down in there so it doesn't walk all over the place. So then I'll take the next thing is here. Let's talk about wood selection. It's very important. You want to get dead standing. All right. It's usually good dry wood. What I mean by dead standing is it's just a rotten tree that hasn't fallen over, or if you have a branch that's broken off and it's gotten hung up in some leaves. That's really some of the best stuff to use. You can see the diameter here. It's not very thick. When you baton this down, you don't want it to come out, too big, because you got to heat up that whole mass there. So I try to end up with a piece that's about 1/2 inch. Back to the wood. Dead standing. All right. I like to use a hardwood because it's going to give you a better ember. But you can start to look for it where it starts to, just before it gets spongy. It's nice and light. You can see there's already been critters getting in here. So these two pieces, they actually came off of this piece. Just a piece of oak. Right there. I believe it was. There we go. And I split it, batoned it down, and came off with these two guys. All right. Good and dry. Got to be dry. The material is absolutely critical to creating an ember. If you're struggling with it and you're working with it and you can't seem to get anything but smoke, if you can't even get smoke, just stop. Don't overdo it. Don't kill yourself. Grab another piece or try the other end. If this end of the wood's no good, try this end, or try a different part of the tree or something. Try a different piece of wood. Try a different spindle. You never know. One other thing I wanted to mention, if you don't have a piece of fat lighter, what some guys will do is they'll take leaf and they'll put a leaf in there and they'll mash it in. And those pieces of leaf will give you some lubrication as well. I think that about covers it. Once again, your material is absolutely critical. If you're trying and you cannot get an ember to take, cheat a little bit. Take the wood and throw it in the dash of your car. I learned that from David West too. Throw it in the dash or the back seat of the car and let the sun hit it for a few days and let it get good and dried out. What I've been working on lately here is, if I can accomplish it, I'll feel really accomplished here. I want to build a bow drill set out of cabbage palm. Cabbage palm is everywhere here in Florida. It's easy to work with. You can build a good nest out of that. Every piece of the tree itself is really good for fire making. So anyway, this is what I was experimenting with. I used just the palm frond. You'll notice some different colors, variations in colors. There's some gray. The gray is the most degraded. It's the most degraded. Super light. It's no good what you want to use it. You can use it for tinder, what have you. But I like either the yellow or slightly just after yellow to make the spindle and the fireboard. You can see this has already got a good shape for starting off a spindle. This particular piece here, you can find some that are longer and straighter. Just round it out. The spindle came out pretty good, nice and straight. The problem is working with palm. It's extremely soft, and as you're using it, the spindle will want to walk. It'll want to travel, and eventually it will just pop out the side. Another thing is it's so soft you come through the bottom really quickly. So if I can master it, I'll be really happy. And I've tried a couple different things. I've tried putting my foot on it. You know, you normally do it like this. So this is your foot. You normally do it like this. But that front back motion is what caused it. With the saw, it's caused it to travel. So then I took it and I put it on the front of my foot and I ran it. So I would travel up and down it this way. You look at the palm, it's thicker in the center. So if my pressure with my spindle is to be going the length of it to stay centered rather than travel to the sides, and then eventually just pop through, you can see how thin it is. But I haven't accomplished that yet. I'm still working on it. So anyway, if you guys have any questions on the bow drill, any of its components, if you're having problems getting an ember going, if you're having problems with your bearing block, what type of wood to use for your spindle, once again, look, I like hardwood. Hardwood seems to work the best. I can't tell you which woods will work and which ones won't. Real sappy wood, don't use real sappy wood. That doesn't mean you can't use a pine. Some pine works really well. If you get some of the smaller branches, it's nice and dry, it'll work really well. Anyhow, just keep trying. If you have any questions, something I can help out with, put some questions or comments. Thanks for checking us out, and we'll get on another one. We'll see you soon.